Hello everyone, this is Kalyan from Blackbox Tech, and in today's video I'll be going to discuss about a new framework called Svelte. So why a new framework altogether when there are existing framework like Angular, React and other known frameworks like Vue? So what is the difference between this framework with the others? So basically Svelte, it's not a framework like Angular or Vue or React, but it is basically a compiler. So in build time, it compiles all your file to JS using its own compiler, and also you don't need to add any kind of overhead of adding the modules from that particular framework. Like in Angular or React, you generally imports different modules from Angular and React, so there is nothing to import here, only it will be compiled. And in package.json also you can see we will be not importing any of the module from Svelte, rather only will include the Svelte compiler. So in today's video I'll be showing you a complete blog, how I can create a complete blog using Svelte and another framework of Svelte, that is Sapper. So Sapper provides the routing as well as server-side rendering features. So without further delay, let's get started. So first of all, as we'll be going to create a blog here, so I'll be using a headless CMS called Ghost. So it's an open source framework. So if you want the free item, free one from here, so to install it in your local, you need to go to developer, and then if you go to documentation, there is a setup guide. So in local install, you need to first install this Ghost CLI. So I already installed this, so I will now generate a this blog in my local computer. So let's do that. I will just move to desktop, and then I will create a directory called blog backend. Then change my directory to blog backend, and simply I will run this Ghost install local. So you can see, like, once you install that, it will automatically start here. So if I go here, so you can see I will be able to see this welcome screen. You need to quickly create an account. Once you're done with that, it will take you to the admin interface of the Ghost CMS. There you can see a few of the items is already created, like few of the post it's already there, and few of the there is no pages created. So what I'll do quickly, I will go to lab because I need to access the REST API or the endpoints to get the content for our blog. So what I'll do, I will go to labs, and then first I will import few of the contents which I already saved. So this is the JSON file. I will just import, and I will hit import here. Now if I go to post, so those are duplicated, so let's go to lab and first delete everything. Okay, so there is no post, pages, everything. Now I can import that again. Hit import. So there will be posts and pages. I have 2 pages created. So Now what I need to do, go to general and then integration. Actually I'll go to the integration, and here you need to generate some API key. So I will click on add custom integration and provide a name of Blackbox Tech. So I will hit create, and it will give you some of the content API key by which you can actually call the Ghost API. So basically I will just hit copy, and now if I go to this, will take you to the Ghost main page, and then so the URL will be ghost/API v2 content pages, and in space of and you need to give a query string key equal to the new key you have generated. So if you hit enter, you can see you will get two pages which I have created, home and about us. And also if you change this page to posts, so you will be able to see all the posts that is there. Now we'll be using this data to create our blog using Svelte and Sapper. Now let's move into that. So here if you go to the Sapper page, they're giving us some of the template to start with. I'll just hit copy. Now I will move to our desktop, and then I'll simply paste that, and what I'll do, I will put a new folder name which will be our blog. So it will create a folder called blog, and inside that it will copy the templates. So once it's done, I will move to blog, and I will use Visual Studio Code. So as you can see, it's create few of the default files. So let's go have a close look into that. So there is a source directory which have our main project files. There is a static directory which have icon, global CSS, also a manifest.json file, and these are rollup config which will help us to build our project. So you can have rollup as well and webpack. There are two versions available, so you can use either webpack or as rollup, anything to build your project which you are comfortable in. And then this package.json, as I was discussing, so if you see, all are our dev dependencies. So during development we only have these dependencies, and if you see the dependencies, we have only 3, but still those are so compression is to just using in your server side in Express. So it will be used to compress your file during when it will serve from server, and Polka, it's an Express alternative which is being used here as server, and also serve. So all these things are dependency for your server side code, just 3.1. Even you can actually remove this compression if you don't need that. So as you can see, there is no library dependencies. That means we are not using anything from Svelte code. So everything will happen during our compilation. So you can see Svelte is our dev dependencies only. So that is the difference when you are using Angular, React or Vue, because in most of the cases we'll have library dependencies, and when you build that, those dependencies will be still injected in your output code. So let's create that, change the name to blog, and now I will go to source and will show you there is a template.html. So this template, there are some so sapper.styles. So you can see like those are commented well, like it is Sapper generates a style tag containing critical CSS for the current page, and it will be included here. and then all the heads of different components or pages, those will be added here. And also this is our main div or root div where those component or component HTMLs will be injected here. So it's a reference, and this is the script where the script tag containing client.js will be added. And then we have client.js file. So this is the main entry point where we are saying like it will look for the sapper div in our template, and then it will use that div to inject our app components or pages. And then we have a server.js file to render it from server or serve it from server. So it is simply using Polka for that. So as a middleware, it is using compression, and then it is serving that, and we are using the sapper middleware here. So this is just a few lines code. It's very easy to understand. When you are actually publishing your application, you can make it the node environment should be production. And then I will move into the main thing here. So what I'll do to understand, I will just remove everything here and will start from scratch, so you can understand what I'm doing here. So I will just remove these component directs here, and then inside roots I will remove this blog here. I will keep this error and layout, and I will also remove these here. So in the source directory, in this routes, I will just create a new file and I will name it index.svelte, and I'll just put an h1 tag start page. To start in the development environment, I will use npm run dev. Okay, sorry. So first you need to install all the dependencies. I forgot to install that. So let's install that first. Okay. So now I will start npm run dev. So as I remove that, so it is looking for this layout and this nav file here. I will remove that as well, and also I will remove this input here. So now it's listening to localhost 3000. So let's open that application, and you can see the start page. We can see, so whatever the index dot the name with index, that will be our first page here. So now if you go to our endpoint, so if I go to pages, so we have two pages called this is about us page and one is home page, and we'll be using this slug to create actually our pages. So first I will go to this index.svelte, and what I'll do, I will just create a script tag. So there is two things. So if you create, as you know, like is Svelte start with script style, and then you can write your HTML. So that is simple in Svelte templates or component. And for the server side, we'll also have another thing. So if you pass script with a context of module, then you can get or interact with the server side rendering features. So I will add this script context module, and then I will write a function here. So basically the idea is so to create a particular route, we just need to create the file with that particular name, and then you will be able to navigate to the page. For an example, now if I create a new file called home.svelte is built here, and I will add an h1 tag. This is home page. So if you go to this page and route to home, you can see, so our home page will load, or the home svelte will load here. So this is pretty simple. So what I want, so whenever the index.svelte will load, I will want to redirect to our main routes. So what I'll do, I'll go to our index.svelte and I will write a function. So export async. So there is an inbuilt function called preload, and you have access to some page parameter or page information. So basically this page gives you some information regarding page path and also the URL, and also you can access this other parameters here. So let's do a console.log here. So if you console it, so you can see, if you go to the browser, there is nothing here. So there is no console because this is only it will log into the server side page. So let refresh that, go to index. So it is not console. Let's restart the server. Sometimes it happens, I see that. So now once you start that, you can see it logged the page informations, and we have an object called host, path, query, and parameters. So you can have access to all of this, but right now we'll not use that. Rather we just return one method called this dot redirect, and this accepts two parameters. One is the status code and also another route where we want to send the user. So let's pass the status code to 302, and we want the user, whenever they first load the page should redirect to our home page. So let's do that, and then I will remove that, hit enter, and you can see it's redirecting to our home page directly. So if you hit that, and it will redirect to our home page. Okay, so for index.svelte we are done, and then what I'll do, I will create just a navigation. So for the navigation, because the navigation will be added to every page, what I'll do, I will just create a folder called components. Inside that component, I will create a new file called nav.svelte. So we'll have three things here. So once is script, there will be styles, and then we'll write our HTML. So what we'll have three URLs. So three URLs is home, about us, and we'll also create a blog, but the blog generally will have some list of the post, and once you click on that post, it will take you a dynamically dynamic routes where you can see that particular post. So first of all, I will create a nav. So inside that nav, I will create ul li. I need 3 LIs. So the first one will be home, second one will be about, and third one will be blog. Okay, and then I'll be adding some style here which I have already created, and then inside li I will create an anchor tag. There will be an href. I will add a rel of prefetch here. So this is basically means it will be automatically fetched whenever you hover over these links, and it will start fetching the data from the backend, and then I will put a class here. So basically whenever the page, which page is open, it will highlight based on that. So this is not defined. I will define it in soon. So once you do that, so href will be home, and this is our link. So in script tag, I will just create export let segments. So this segments is available in our mainly a file, special file called _layout. From there this is available. So right now we need to export it because I'm going to use this nav component inside that layout. So segment. So I will do the same for our other pages. I just copy paste here. So as I said earlier, like it will be matched with our slugs. So first page will be home, and the second page slug is about us. So that will be creating a page about us, and it will be about, and then this will be a blog. So we are done with the nav component here, and then I'll be adding that to our layout file. So what I need to do, you can see this is already exported, so it we will pass that to our nav component. So here simply I will import that. So to import that, it's pretty simple. Import nav from, I'll go back inside components. This is my file nav.sfield. You need to add the full path here, and then I'll do here, I will just add our nav, and then inside nav I will pass this segment. Okay, so we have added this. Layout is actually available as a main file, and here we are actually having this main inside that the slot. So in every pages will be loaded inside this slot. Actually this will be replaced with your page content, and that will be loaded inside this main tag. So let's check that. So now if I go here, you can see this home, about, blog, these 3 pages added, our navigation component, and I will also add some of the global style here. So I will go to desktop, and then data, and I will open this global size CSS. Let's open that with TextEdit. I will just do copy paste here. So now I will go to our static folder global CSS. I'll just replace with my styles. And now if I refresh the page, you can see so home page, we don't have about. If you click that about, then this error page will return a 400. So this error svelte file will return error. So if I click about us, you can see it is 404, even blog page is not there. So first thing first, I will now load the home page content inside our home.svelte file. So I will do the same. I will first call the endpoint from server. So let's create script context module, and here the same thing. I will do export async function preload. So inside that, what I'll do, I will use the fetch. So as you know, fetch is a client side library, but you cannot use in server, but Sapper provides an alternative, so you can access that using this fetch method. If you use directly fetch, it will not work, and I will return that as a promise. So this fetch, and inside that my URL will be here. So this is the pages. I will just copy the whole URL here and pass that, and then I will be using then response.json, and then data. So here we have access to the data. So if I do a console.log here, you can see the data is loaded. Why it is not working? Because we need to provide a return here, and once you do that, you can see the data is returning here. So you can see the page, and we have 2 pages here, and so we need to filter the data with this slug. So this slug will filter that out. So let's create a constant. So constant, let's say provide a name k constant page name, and I will use page dot path. So as you know, like this, as I showed earlier, like this page returns a path, and we'll try to match and use that to filter our data. And now what I'll do, so data dot pages. So here we have pages. So data dot pages will become, so data dot pages dot filter. We'll do a filter here, and take a variable called I, and then I'll do page name dot includes I, and then what I filtered, this will filter with slug. So I dot slug. Now if I console log here, with data dot pages, I will only get where the slug should match the home content, and it should filter out and return the home data only. So let's clear the console, hit save, go to the page and refresh once. So now we are getting only the content of home. So with that, so now we'll return that so that it will be used by our client side, so that they can actually use that. So here I will return that and give it a key of page data, and then pass the data.pages, the first item. Okay. Now next thing is I will just create the script, and I need to export it. Page data. Another thing, so the page, everything we need to set a title, right? So right now it's not setting correct title. So SVelte Sapper provides a special thing, so you can use that as, so this SVelte head, you can use that, and inside that if you pass title, so right now pass this home. So generally we can get this page data, and you can see this page data, we have a title key, so you can simply use that here. So page data dot title, so it will dynamically set. Let's test our pages. So now it's dynamically setting up this title, right? And then we'll be creating a div with the class of content, and then inside I will just create a h1 tag which will have this title here, and then I will simply bind the data. So now this page data dot I want to add this HTML. So you can see this HTML key have whole HTML data. So if I do HTML here, now if you go to the page, you can see everything is there, but the thing is, like, you can see this not parsed correctly, right? So what I'll do, I'll just add @HTML before that, and you can see now it's if you refresh the page again, you will see it's parsed correctly, and this is the title and everything is there. Okay. So next thing, so home page is done, home is working correctly. The next thing is we need to do the same thing for about, and if you remember, in the navigation we have created using slug. So slug is about dash us, so we need to do the same thing here. So I will just copy the same thing because both the item will be same. I will create another file and give it a name of about us dot SVelte. Paste the whole thing here, because nothing is static here. Everything is dynamic, so it should work actually if it's correctly. So now if I go to about us, still the title of undefined. Let's just restart the server. Sometimes this having problem. So now if I, so this is now working. So once I restart, so home about us, home about us. So this segment somehow it's not working correctly. So its component in app.svelte export let segment. So all this is thing home, right? So that's why it's not working. It's my bad. So it need to be similar as the slug, so it will match and then it is blog. Now once you save it, go back. So now we are in home, so it is highlighted with the selected because this segment returns the segment name and it is matching. If it's matching with this, and then it is adding a class of selected here. Now if I go to about, it's load the about us page. So these both are working, but we need to work on this blog thing. So let's create that. So if we have multiple things, it is better to create a folder, and as is the index.svelte and home.svelte, you can create a folder called home, and then inside you can create an index.svelte file that will do the same thing here. So let's create a folder. I will create a name blog, and inside that I will add a file called index.svelte. So to test out, let's create an h1 and add a text called this is blog page. Okay, so now if we go to blog, so you can see this is working. So even if you create a folder with the name, and inside that if you create index.svelte, that is still will work here. So now for the first page, we'll do all the post. So in the URL, if I change it to posts, so it will give you all the post, and we'll take the titles and we'll put in an anchor tag. So once you hit that, you can read the full title here. So that is the idea. So in that blog index.svelte, we'll add that feature. So what I'll do, I will just copy this thing here because this is the similar. So go to blog index.svelte, and probably I will add that, and we'll do some modification. So the URL will be different here. So I will just copy the URL. And here we'll not filter actually, because we need all the post, and we'll get the title from that and we'll list those items. So I will simply remove all these things, and then rather than page data, I will write posts, and it will be data.posts, because basically this is there inside post. So I will write posts. I will return this. Okay, and then again inside that I will export let posts. I will create an svelte head. So svelte head, and also put title here. Blog. And then I will use ul and an li. So basically I will loop through this post and add all the post title as a link. So let's loop through that. So what I'll do, I will use svelte each. So each posts as post. I will end my with /each, some formatting, and then to test out, what I'll do, I will use post dot title. Now if I save that, I should see in the blog page apply all the post title there. So if I hit blog, again. I don't know, I need to restart the server again. Now if I again go back, you can see all the items there, but I need it to be link, so that if I click that, I can go to the dynamic blog URLs and go read the complete post. So let's wrap that in an anchor tag, anchor, and I will also use rel prefetch. So it will be prefetched whenever you hover that item. href, and the link will be the slug. So the same, we'll use post dot slug here, but it will start with blog slash, and then anchor, and now inside that I will use post dot title. This should work. Let's go back. Okay, so now you can see all these are linked, and if I click that, it is trying to go to the page, dynamic pages, but it is not able to go to that. For that we need to create a special file which will help us to do the dynamic routing. So right now nothing is working. So what I'll do, let's create a file inside blog, a special file, and the name should be within this braces, the bracket, and then that you can write slug. So slug.isVeld. So what we can do in this file, it will basically if you now click on any of the item, you can see there is no error, but there is no content loaded, right? But now there is no error at all. You can go to that page. The next thing is we need to show the content. So what I'll do, I will just copy again, because I need to do some modification in the same thing, and so these pages will be posts. This is fine. So page.path, because this will provide us the dynamic path based on the slug. And this pages, let's change it to posts, filter, page name dot include, that is fine. Return data dot posts. So this is fine. Again I will create a script which will work for client side. So here I will define export let this page data. So now we have access to all the post which will match with the slug. So dynamically it will have a slug available, and we have access here, and we are filtering that with that. So we'll have only that particular page contain as an array. So again I'll have to create the dynamic head. So is head. So by the way, I'm using this isVeld Visual Studio Code plugin. You can use that, so you will have all this nothing, you can dynamically generate these codes. So here again we'll be creating that title, and inside that title I need to have page data dot title, close the title here. Now isVeld head, and then I'll create a div, the same div with a class of content, and inside that I will create an h1. So for page data dot title to show the content title, and after that I will use simply page data dot html, and before that we need that @HTML thing to render it as an HTML. So that's it. So now our blog should return the dynamic data whenever we click here. So say managing admin settings, see it's working. Once it's compiles, go back to blog, click on any items, and you can see everything is working here. Home, about, blog, everything is working now. So there is two things. So like Svelte right now is the top framework in terms of performance. So because it's once you build it, generally create the pure JavaScript with some very performance oriented JavaScripts, plain JavaScript vanilla with very less footprint. So its performance is very high, and you can see like we are using this SSR features right now, because if you see like everything is available if you view source, and it's not client, so everything is rendering from the server, and Sapper is hydrating the data which you are calling using fetch, and then using to render all these component in the server itself. So it is very good for the SEO as well. So inside this Svelte head you can also pass the meta name and description. So for an example, if I add meta name description, and for content I'll send it dynamic to page data. So let's see what is our where is it's available. So meta title, meta description. So page data dot meta description, and we can actually paste this everywhere. So because in our home is built, put that here. Our about us is built, put that here, and also blog, put that here. So this blog don't have this page data, so let's put its manual blog page. Now if I go back to our page, refresh, and if you inspect element, if you go to this head, you can see this meta, it should generate. So meta name description home page. Another thing, I'll show you the performance here. So now if you go to audit, I will run so Lighthouse audit for our before that I will just simply go to our application tab, go to service worker, because it comes with service worker. So unregistered, so installing, it's activated, it's fresh now, and I will go to audits, hit run audit. You can see the performance, how fast it is, and it gives a very good audit result. For performance it's almost 100, and for the other thing you can see the performance is 100%, SEO is 100%, as we have added the thing, and also accessibility and best practices. So best practices basically nothing, it's asking us to use HTTP2, which you can do when you are actually deploying to server and configure the server based on that. So almost all the things are very highly thing. And one thing I would like to show you here. So now if I do this build, so production build, so npm run build, so basically when you run build, it will create a file folder called build. So let's check that. So if I go to build directory and get info, see this whole blog, how much the file size is. It's just 191 KB. Don't you think it's very great? Like it's a complete blog with all those files. It's just an 191 KB. Even like when it will be served through browser, as we are using compression, that is pretty much very things. If you go to network, and you can see 8 KB 2 KB, which is sending to the browser. So I think you like it's a great thing. And also I will come up with many more videos for Svelte and Sapper. If you like, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.